Hello, cyberspace. It's me, Angie, and I welcome both you and your ears to an episode of Life, Love, Music, and Space Travel. In case you're wondering who Angie is, I'm Angie, and I'm super stoked to spend some time sharing with y'all some of my experiences and thoughts on living, loving, music, and space travel, or spiritual experiences as I often refer to as space travel. A rather broad spectrum, right? Well, my hope is to always share something that resonates with, intrigues, excites, or perhaps inspires you. On that note, I invite you to sit back, buckle up, and take a little trip out into the cosmos with me. Hello, cyberspace. It's me, Angie, and I'm coming to you with episode 16 of Life, Love, Music, and Space Travel. It's been a little bit since I've released a new episode, and each one that I start to record feels like a milestone. Here I am at number 16, and no shit, this is actually the fourth take for me. I've started this episode 4 different times, and just haven't felt right with it. What's my focus? What's my topic going to be about? Who wants to listen to me? Some people do. A lot of people do. I know you're out there listening. And so I really appreciate your continued support. I know I have something to say. I've got lots of stuff to say. But this forum, once again, it allows me an opportunity to reflect on and share my experience with this life thing. And at present moment, my life experience is pretty interesting, at least in my opinion. Today's Father's Day. Today is also 6 months for me since I left Colorado. For anyone who's been following me, they kind of know my story a little bit. But for anyone who might just be listening to this episode, I left my home state of Colorado, my home state for the last 27 years anyway. I left Colorado about, as of today, 6 months ago. And I'm on this whole new life experience, starting over. Divorced, sold the house, couldn't buy anything in Colorado. And so it really put me on this forward trajectory. And I decided to come to North Carolina and live with my parents. And that's where I am right now, having been on June 25th. I'll have been here for 6 months in their house. And it has been quite an experience. Back home, almost 51 years old, for goodness sake. I joke about it, but I really am incredibly grateful for my parents. Very, very grateful that they have welcomed me into their home. Me and my 2 furry babes, Marshmallow and Chip. And I feel like it's been pretty wonderful. But the idea of family is really on my mind. And that's kind of going to be the focus of this episode. It's not easy, as we all know. I think everyone has a family. Maybe you don't know them. Maybe you didn't grow up with them. You might not be close with them. Maybe you're too close with them. But we still have family. My goodness, my Ancestry.com keeps popping out and telling me I have all kinds of family, maybe 3rd and 4th cousins, but familial bloodline connection, they are all out there. And I'm presently living this very interesting social experiment of sorts, the familial social experiment. Mom, dad, and myself. 2 furry babes, they're 2 furry babes. All dogs. We have 4 dogs, 2 cats. And just recently, there's been a new addition to the household, a few new additions. The brother has moved in. So it's actually mom, dad, brother, sister. Mom, dad, son, daughter, all living together as, quote, adults. Yeah, mind explosion. Very surprisingly, things have been going pretty darn well. It's pretty cool, and not lost on me this opportunity that I am definitely in the midst of. But it can be crazy making. Brother came with his 2 cats. Mom and dad have 2 cats and 2 dogs. I have 2 dogs. So sort of a kennel with some humans mixed in, a house full of love. Probably going to use the word grateful quite a few times. I am super curious about other people. There was a time when families lived together. Really, grandparents, and there were a lot of them living together. And we don't really live like that so much anymore. So here now in a pretty small house, it is big enough. I feel like we're all able to pretty much find our space, but in pretty close proximity, we're here and I'm enjoying it. Very, very grateful, I will say. You also, my listeners know I am in and on a path of recovery, a journey of recovery and self-discovery. And things would not be as calm, cool, and collected as they are if I was not in that place. I need every bit of knowledge I've gained, every tool in my toolbox to really be able to settle into and embrace this life experience I'm in the midst of. And as I said, it's not lost on me, this opportunity that I have to spend some time with my family. I don't know how long we'll all be living together, but right now this is pretty special. We actually took a trip yesterday to the beach, and we all have life stuff going on, taking care of stuff, dealing with stuff, but overall we are pretty healthy. Parents still together, 73 and 72, mentally still there. I do believe overall pretty healthy. And it's a gift to really have this opportunity that we all have right now. I do want to send a shout out to all the dads out there. This, of course, will be coming out tomorrow, and Father's Day will have, quote, passed. But shout out to all the dads out there. I have family out there who are dealing with and kind of going through this time after a loss. And my love, I send all of my love out to them. I know plenty of people out there, for all of you dealing with loss during this time of year, fathers who are not with us, or maybe you are estranged, or whatever it is. I send you healing thoughts and prayers for peace and relief. And for all of you who get to spend time with your dads, embrace it, soak it up. Of course, obviously, I have a dad and we're pretty good with each other, but there's always healing to take place. And today I feel like we made a connection. I got Dad a Fitbit. He'd been talking about wanting a Fitbit for some time now. And so I got him a Fitbit. And I believe it will be something that we can connect with. We'll see who gets the most steps or who gets the least steps throughout the day. I'm definitely going to try and share with him the knowledge that I have based around the Fitbit deal, and perhaps it'll allow us to connect and focus on our health. So what's also been interesting with this living in the familial environment, especially since the brother moved in, is trying to maintain my independent life. I have been trying to get a podcast episode out every week. And this last week was tough for me between working and whatever. I kind of got sidetracked and off the path of keeping the focus on myself and trying to maintain, as I mentioned, my independent life. And tonight I just decided, because I really want to do a podcast episode with him, and I will. But I realized I was sort of putting off putting out an episode for me because I felt like I needed to get it done with him. And I finally got back into the groove and said, all right, Ange, you're going to record your episode tonight. And then I can record as many episodes as I want, but I need to try and maintain my independent life. Not easy with so much going on around me. So easy to get caught up in codependency and attachment and everything that comes with relationships. And us four together can be pretty codependent at times. They might not like hearing that, but once again, I know we're not the only ones. I am pulling myself back in and trying to get back into focus of not getting too distracted and continuing to do the things that I have to do. I have a lot to do. I have to renew my vehicle registration and work on possibly changing my plates over, changing my name on my driver's license, and doing my taxes. I did file for extension, but I have lots of stuff to do. I'm grateful for the clarity within me that says I need to continue to maintain independence. When a lot is going on around me, it's so easy to get lost. How do you all feel about that? I would love to hear from anyone. Post something on my Instagram page or send me an email at ashyisbadass@gmail.com. But I'd love to hear how other people really maintain balance being around so many people. I was married for a long time, but we didn't have children together. And so the household was really him and I and the dogs. And even though I got pretty lost in him, I still had an independent life. And now with being around mom and dad and the brother, I find it's easy to get kind of caught up in them and lose myself. I don't want to lose myself. I've been working a lot, which is always good. I guess we're in full swing, busy season at Jack Mackerel's. So I'm taking this time. Really, my goal is to replenish the bank account. I don't have a whole lot of worries right now. That's the beautiful plus side of getting this opportunity to sort of live rent-free at a later stage in my life and take some time to relax and recharge. What I am thinking about is also Father's Day, of course. And I'm going to pull out the pod decks question. And I have spoken about pod decks. I love pod decks. It is, you can use it in app form or actually in hard deck card form, and it just gives you conversation starters, questions. And one of the questions that popped up under dads, it's one of the dad decks. It says, did any of your father's hobbies or passions rub off on you? And Dad, if you're listening, he'll know the answer to this one, or he won't be surprised by it. But my dad loves to sing. He used to have a karaoke DJ business, Shy Guy Karaoke. And he loves to sing, and we over the years have sang together for sure. So his passion for music, which it's always been a part of his life, definitely rubbed off on me. Our karaoke go-to is usually Proud Mary, Ike and Tina, and I have not been out for karaoke in quite some time, but that's definitely a hobby and or passion that is rubbed off on me. The next question, did your dad ever come to your school for a show and tell or career day? And I'm kind of going to throw this in off of my brother's memory of something that he did with my brother. Dad, once again, in tribute to you, and we had the video for a long time, but they were in a talent show, and Dad got up and lip synced You Can Call Me Al, Paul Simon. It was great. It was a showstopper. He's definitely a character, a showman of sorts, and I applaud him for that. He's always been able to kind of control the crowd, and it's really something to see at times. He enjoys being in the spotlight, and he can pull it off very, very well. Let's see. What's your dad's least favorite chore? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to guess that he probably has a lot of them. And since I've been here, I think I've been helping with cleaning out the litter boxes. So hopefully that takes something off of his plate. Cleaning up some of the dog duty in the yard, that comes with having pets for sure. But I may have to ask him about that. What's your dad's favorite dessert? My dad's favorite dessert, as I'm coming to learn, I kind of think he's a key lime pie guy. I have yet to find a good piece of key lime pie or bring him one home yet. I'll have to bring home a piece of the Jack Mackerel's key lime cheesecake. Always something to learn about our family members. Kind of getting back to just the focus of family. It's so easy to take them for granted. Easy to take people for granted in general. But to slow down, asking these questions, going through this pod deck, it reminds me of how much I still have to learn about my dad and my mom and my brother. I'm grateful for right now, this moment, being reminded of, once again, how short life is, and to not slough aside the idea, and I guess if I'm saying it right, to just be reminded to make time to get to know, make time to heal relationships. This is one of those days when I'm reminded that how petty some of the stuff is. I don't want any regrets. And we never know when time is up, or when somebody else's time is going to be up, when it's time for them to head off onto the next great adventure. I don't want to miss out. I'm going to take away from this episode, for sure, myself, to get busy healing and dealing with whatever might be standing in the way of my having the best relationship I can have with the people around me. That's my goal. I want to have the best relationship with the people around me. And as we know, of course, I'm human. And so people are challenging for me, as I'm sure they kind of are for everyone. But I gently suggest to me and to the rest of you all out there, if you're willing to hear it, to not waste any more time. I need to take my own advice for sure and get busy healing and growing relationships each day so that I don't miss out on anything or wish I had done things different. I've got a couple days off coming up. I'm hoping to do something positive with that. I am now kind of shooting off the cuff here of what is it that I'm going to talk about next. I didn't have anything pressing on my mind other than this idea of family. Taking the time to get to know, taking the time to get past. Just this point in my life being Angie. This Angie around a bunch of very strong personalities. I'm not Angie who is 15 or 18. I'm Angie who's 51. I shouldn't say that. I'm still 50. But very, very close to finishing off my 51st year. And I am really proud of who I have become and who I am continuing to become. And being with my parents and my brother, it can be very easy to get pushed back into who I was or who I've been. And it just feels great to keep moving forward in this person I'm becoming. I'm super grateful. This past Wednesday, June 15th, I had my 10th ketamine infusion. And as I always like to preface, I'm not a doctor, psychiatrist, psychologist, and I'm not necessarily advocating or pushing ketamine in any way, shape, or form. But for me, it has been a life-changing and life-saving medicine. So I have participated in a medical setting, ketamine infusions. And one of the other questions that came up in the pod decks, it was in the custom deck actually, and it asked, am I happier or sadder than I was this time last year? And so I am coming up on my 51st birthday. And this time last year, life was hard and heavy. I was coming up to the end of a very challenging time in my relationship. Even though I was divorced, we were still living together and we were getting very close to finally listing the house and making the decision to get the house sold. And it was dark and it was heavy for me. As I've mentioned before, I would not have called myself suicidal, but I eventually started calling the suicide hotline as a suggestion from a friend who he suggested I call them and talk to them. And I was doing that. I was asking the universe to please not give me any more. And I was definitely depressed and overwhelmed and living in a very toxic household. I opted to try, by the suggestion of my doctor, my family, the ketamine infusions. This time last year, I had not found a solution, and I had not found something that was really helping me physically. I'm definitely happier this year. Life is definitely much better. And as I said, this past Wednesday was my 10th infusion, and it was wonderful. And it is the space travel component of my podcast. For a good 45 minutes, I feel like I get to really kind of detach from this earthly plane and take a trip out into the cosmos. And this week's in particular was just a wonderful, for me, a wonderful experience that I'm incredibly grateful for. Equally grateful that Mom is willing to drive me to Myrtle Beach to be my chauffeur there and back, because I can't drive myself. But that piece is definitely helpful with the familial stuff. My neural pathways are rebuilding themselves, and my reaction to life is different. So being in the house with Mom, Dad, brother, as I said, we took a trip to the beach, and I was able to kind of sit back at times and just let things be. And it's been wonderful. I saw somebody today one person said I looked super tired. It didn't bother me to my core, because I am tired. I worked today. It was busy. And then somebody else told me that they saw in myself a level of happiness and joy, along with freedom, that they could just see in me, that was kind of exuding. I was exuding those attributes, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Let's see here. I am going to finish this episode out with a couple more questions. This is also out of Poddex. Do you feel excited when you wake up in the morning? I do. I generally feel pretty excited that I have woken up, period. Another day of living to be had. Another day of living to be had, yeah. And I then go back to sleep for a little bit more, but pretty excited to wake up in the morning, and it has definitely not always been that way. Oh, I'm going to look in my relationship deck here. Where do you like to go on a first date? I'm just going to put this out. This is a super random episode, but I have been thinking a lot about dating. I have not been on a date yet since I've been here in North Carolina. And so for anyone listening, maybe just putting it out to the universe, because I have been asking the universe, of course, to do what it wants to do. I'm not looking for a serious relationship. Well, I shouldn't say that. Whatever the universe has in store for me, but I'm not going to get lost in anything, because I have lots to do, lots to focus on. Where do I like to go on a first date? Gosh, where do I like to go on a first date? I suppose I'd love to go out and get something yummy to eat. Perhaps I'd say a concert, but you can't really get to know anybody. A walk on the beach could be just going out and hanging out in some lawn chairs and sitting back and chit-chatting, taking a ride on the ferry from Southport, over to Southport. That's a really good question. I might have to think about that. What does a healthy relationship look like? To me, a healthy relationship looks like something that starts organically and unfolds organically. And that is not the way my relationships have been, in truth. And having just gotten out of an 18-year relationship, I think anything else that starts from this point on will be very different. All right, I'm definitely rambling, jabber-jawing, as those who know me know I like to say. Jabber-jawing. Thanks for listening to me jabber-jaw. I'm definitely going to close out at this point. Thanks for coming and joining me for episode 16. I do believe my next episode is going to have a special guest. I haven't had a guest on the episode yet. It's just been me. I'm pretty sure I'm going to invite, and it'll be a sibling. Like to think it'll be the sibling episode, the brother and I chatting back and forth, probably answering a lot of Poddex questions. Who knows? Who knows what he'd like to talk about? But I do appreciate everybody for joining me. 16 episodes in. I really hope to continue to grow my Instagram page and perhaps get a Facebook page built out so that we can communicate at a different, maybe more personable, regular level. But please feel free and send me an email if you'd like. Topic ideas, thoughts on life in general, what you'd like to hear about, what you're going through, if anything I have mentioned resonates with you. And I really thank anyone and everyone who has given me a review. I read one today that I hadn't seen before. It was on the Apple page, and I apologize that I can't remember what the person's name was, but they left me a spectacular review, and I'm greatly appreciative of it. So for now, I'm going to close it out with a big thank you and a big happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. Dads of human people, human children, and also the dads of furry babes, and the stepdads, those men who are stepping up for the children that are in their lives. Important. You're really important. And I'm super grateful for my dad. Thanks for being my dad. The best dad I've had, for sure. So, over and out for now. Thanks for listening. Bye. So, we've reached the end of today's episode. Thanks so very much for listening. It's now time to reconnect to planet Earth and all that comes with living on the blue ball. I'd love to hear your ideas for future episode topics, along with any and all positive and or constructive feedback. Please feel free to contact me at ashysbadass@gmail.com. Thanks again for spending some time with me and allowing me to share myself with you. Until next time, please be gentle with yourselves, be kind to animals, and do all you can to allow your authentic selves to shine brightly.